Next up, we've got a great panel. Andy Atherton, come on out. They have to move some chairs. So I mentioned earlier that we've been working closely with Facebook on FBX. And I know this is a topic that many of you are very interested in. So we've got a couple of case studies. We've got Blake Chanley here from Facebook to talk about what they're doing and where they're going. Andy Atherton is our senior vice president who's been managing the Facebook and FBX relationship for the whole time that they've been doing this. And so here again, Sebastian, Jennifer, Blake, and Andy. Take it away, guys.
Hi, all. So you've heard a little bit about this earlier in the presentations, but in July, the programmatic display ecosystem saw one of its biggest discrete expansions of inventory ever. The Facebook exchange obviously is what I'm talking about here, a huge new pool of quality supply available for the first time via RTB. We were very excited to have the opportunity to work with Facebook in the early stages, starting with the alpha through the launch. And it's only 4 months in, but we've already had a lot of success with many clients across this new pool of inventory. And so we've brought a set of folks here to share experiences with you, because there's really a lot of opportunity with this new inventory for everyone here. So some intros. First with us from Facebook is Blake Chanley. He's their global vice president of the partnership team. Oversees strategy, partnerships, and commercial relationships across the major holding companies, strategic tech partners, and key global accounts. Longtime Facebooker, started in 2007. Spent the first 4 years building out the international footprint, opening offices in EMEA, APAC, and LATAM. And prior to that, shared 5 years with me at Yahoo from 2002 to 2007 in a variety of domestic and international roles. So welcome, Blake.
Highlight of my career was with you, Andy.
Oh, thank you. You flatter me. Next is Jen Waremaker. She's senior manager in eBay's social business unit, which is a newly formed team focused on reclaiming eBay's leadership in social commerce. She leads the strategy for leveraging Facebook as well as social marketing for eBay. More than 15 years in digital marketing, including leading mobile marketing for eBay's highly successful mobile business, several years in the startup world prior to that. And last but not least is Sebastian Scheppers. He's COO of Banner Connect, which is a leading fully independent trading desk across Europe. He manages a variety of functions, including ad ops, sales, inventory management, software engineering. He's a Banner Connect veteran as well, and played a pivotal role in their success to date. So please welcome our panelists here. Let's see. All right, so first, I want to get a little background from Facebook on the Facebook exchange. So at a high level, what were you trying to accomplish with FBX?
So, I mean, if you think back where we came from, we've got a lot of information about users, our billion users, 600 million on mobile. There's a lot of what we call native data around who those people are, profile information they've shared with us, things they like, things they share amongst each other. And so for the first 5 or 6 years of the company, we spent a lot of time building out targeting capabilities and platforms that allow brands and agencies to take advantage of this information, target in a very different kind of robust way. And as we started thinking about where the world's going, in addition to some of the macro things that are going on, the programmatic buying, some of the information that was shared earlier, make it easier for our partners to actually target on Facebook. One of the things we started thinking about was how do we then start to leverage data that's also important to brands that can provide, one, a better user experience, because things people are doing outside of Facebook are relevant to them. Things they're looking at, activities they're doing on the web, things they're doing with their favorite brands. And the question was always, how can you do that in a privacy kind of sensitive way? Because that's a huge, huge priority for our company. So as we started thinking about different things and ways to do that, a small group of folks, we have this hacker culture, started building out what today has become the Facebook exchange, right? It was a handful of engineers, and they built some unique platforms starting in kind of May. And then we went out and found some great partners like yourselves to help us, understand what we can do, how we can do it better. And then we released in September. And it just allows our first foray into off-Facebook targeting, right? And there'll be more things. We've launched some stuff around custom audiences, which uses a different set of data. And that's in line with what we're trying to do. Better user experience, better brand experience. The different ad units it participates in. Today it's in the right-hand column. We have an enormous effort within our company to integrate brands into the news feed. So we think that's an important part of where we're going and into our mobile platforms, which we've done fairly successfully. And Joanne was talking earlier about the mobile ad units, and we've actually had tremendous success with our mobile platform. So you can see us making some inroads and targeting on that as well. So it's actually fit really nicely into where we're going from a targeting perspective.
So still relatively early days, but in the context of those objectives, what have you learned?
The RTB space has a lot of different players. A lot of them are domestic. There are some big players outside the U.S. We started out in the U.S. earlier this year. We're now expanding into EMEA and APAC. We've learned a lot from our partners in terms of latency issues, in terms of the creative formats. We're still using kind of Facebook ad serving with our creative units. Some people would like that to change. To be more consistent and easier, but so we've heard that. We're just learning how to scale the business, and as much fanfare as we've gotten, we still look at it. We're still in the very, very beginning, yep. And we've seen some great results, and we've seen some brands do extremely well. I think Aggregate Knowledge came out with or published a report maybe 6 weeks ago, tracking 30 campaigns where we delivered, I think, roughly 190% increase in conversions at a 35% lower CPA. Right, so we're starting to see some really, really tangible and strong performance metrics coming out of the back, and we're excited about it.
That's great. So with that, why don't we actually get some feedback from some folks that have used FBX? So first, Jen, can you give us some background on your campaign and what you were trying to accomplish, what eBay was trying to accomplish?
Sure. Our first test campaign on FBX with AppNexus was in September. You can see that we were very excited to see much stronger reach than we see typically in other platforms. And for us, this campaign was around acquiring new customers, so targeting visitors to our site and looking to convert them. And having stronger reach gives us better potential to drive revenue and conversion for us. Also really good ROI, I think pretty comparable to a lot of other ad exchange inventory, but definitely stronger than a lot of things you see on display. So we're very excited about what we think we could be doing in some of our next tests we're planning right now.
So was this, just to be clear, was this a reallocation of RTB budget from standard display, or did this actually bring more money into the ecosystem?
Actually, more money into the ecosystem. My team is the social team, and we are separate from the display team. So this came out of our funding and the budget that we've allocated to experiment with a number of things on Facebook. So,
it's great. Budget expansion. It's a good thing. So can you talk a little bit about your process for getting live? What you had to do to get this campaign going?
Yeah, it wasn't too painful. I think we were able to leverage existing data that we have and our existing relationship with AppNexus. I think one of the challenges that Blake commented on a little bit is creative. It's different creative that you need to create, and for eBay, dynamic creative is the real win for us. We have dynamic inventory and millions of listings across all product categories, and so having to create inventory that is static and creating creative to match that is a little more challenging for us. So I think that's an area that we are working on, but it did provide learnings for us because we had to lay out a plan for what is it that we think would drive acquisition and really be thoughtful about it.
That's great. So obviously there's some high-level stats up here. Anything more that you can comment on in the way of results?
Well, this was a user acquisition campaign, but it had good ROI and really strong GMB in our terms is sales in most companies' terms. So I think we have some other strategies we're going to be testing the rest of this quarter.
Okay. So can you tell me a little bit more about that, what you might be planning to do in future campaigns
Yeah, well,
What's
it's
next?
holiday season, so holidays is a
Right
very
on.
important time for most of us in the retail space. So we'll be working on promoting deals and other things to drive our share during the holiday season.
It's great. Any advice you might have for folks out there that might not have tried FBX yet and would be interested in dipping their toe in the water?
I mean, I think that you have to be thoughtful about measurement and the creative and coming up with a good plan for the campaign. But you have a lot of the tools today to do that. So it isn't a big stretch from the things we're already doing in the ad exchange space.
It's great. Good feedback. And definitely looking forward to more. I want to cut over now to Sebastian to talk a little bit about what Banner Connect is doing. So this is kind of a different type of campaign, really pushing the envelope in terms of innovative applications. And I know at the core of it, it was about something that I think a lot of marketers have been chasing for a while, the ability to tie through to the second screen. But can you tell us a little bit more, just describe what you were doing and try to make it real for the folks here?
Sure. To give a little bit of background, about 3 months ago, I think, we got a phone call from a company called MediaSync, a local startup. They're here with us in New York, so I'm pretty proud of that. And they literally asked us one question: is it possible to activate campaigns in real time? Well, as many of you know, once you press a button in any ad server, it takes a couple of minutes for a campaign to go live, anywhere between 4 to 8 minutes. So that's not really real time. I asked them, why would you want to activate a campaign in real time? And they said, well, we have this great technology that can send triggers based on what's on television. So as soon as a TV commercial of one of their clients is recognized, they can send out a signal and they instantly want to target second screen inventory, primarily Facebook, because what are people doing when watching TV commercials, either emailing or driving Facebook?
So hold on. So does this mean that, drill down a little bit? So I'm watching TV, I've got my iPad. Is there some sort of app that's running in the background that's listening to what I'm hearing, or how does this actually work?
It would be ideal if we obviously could find out what people are watching, but that's not how it works. It's all server side. So there are a couple of servers that are not literally, but they're watching television all the time. And they try to find patterns in television. So patterns being frames that identify TV commercials or programs. So as soon as one of them is identified, they send out a signal that would also trigger the online part of the campaign. So it's actually extending the brand awareness of your TV commercial to the second screen in real time.
So you're taking advantage of another aspect of RTB. So it's not so much about the user personalization, the user targeting. It's more about the dynamic nature of being able to turn things on and off very quickly.
Exactly.
It's interesting. So can you tell us a little bit more about, well, why don't we go to implementation? So Jen said it wasn't extremely painful. It sounds like your implementation may have been more complex. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Well, when I got the question, at that time, we didn't have the infrastructure to do this exactly in real time. So I started wondering, how can we do this? And at that moment, I realized that there was a hackathon at AppNexus where they allow engineers to go crazy for a day, which is a brilliant concept.
It's only one day?
It's one day a year, I guess. But and there was an Around You project.
Did you not see the video?
I did, actually.
Okay.
So there was this Around You concept, where Around You was based on the concept of having external triggers like weather forecasting or the actual weather or the stock exchange, or in this case, television commercials that could influence what was happening with RTB in real time.
So it sounds like you might be hinting at some future applications there. What are you planning kind of next for this?
I think the cool part is the technology is the same for every external trigger. So it's set up now, and basically every single data you can pull in real time from the internet of whatever other offline source you could use to influence real-time bids. You could start campaigns, stop campaigns, but also bid more aggressively or less aggressively what you want, or change the inventory all in real time.
In terms of results for this campaign, how are they measuring, and do you have any results that you can share?
Sure. So I think part of it is extending the brand awareness, and this is a really media first. So the budget was not big enough to sustain a really big brand awareness study. one of the main goals was to increase the Facebook likes of the Mercedes page in this case. As soon as that Mercedes TV commercial was on, we tried to reach people on Facebook and get them to like the Mercedes Facebook page. Unfortunately, Facebook does not yet allow us to track conversions through the entire process, so we had to get all of that information back from the agency. But they've seen a real big increase in the likes, and we are hoping to get something that can measure it and give me something like a 20, 30, 40% uplift.
Okay, cool. Very interesting.
I think it's interesting because it's one of the great learnings. We launched FBX with no view tag, so attribution modeling was almost impossible, right?
Yep.
And I remember the battle we had internally with the privacy guys because that's data, and there's potential data leakage, which everybody, we had to work really, really hard to prevent because that's again, huge priority for our company. And the fact that now we're able to see through and how people are defining success on FBX is actually changing. So we're looking all the way through, obviously, the traditional kind of view-through attribution modeling, right? Through on the CPA side, but increasingly brands are starting to leverage FBX. And so, some of the world's largest brands, which we have big global relationships with, are coming to us and saying, how do we do a better job leveraging this new technology to target audiences that are relevant based on their data or data that you guys might be working with them on versus fans or something like that. So I think we're starting to see a shift, and as people start looking at core kind of brand metrics and KPIs versus just pure CPA, which is where DR kind of FBX and a lot of the exchanges sit today.
Yep.
I think we'll achieve some of those numbers that were shared earlier that I think Brian shared and some others.
It's great stuff. Well, thank you all. I want to give some takeaways here. So here's what I took away. Very interesting applications. I think we saw a range of more straight ahead traditional versus some more forward, crazy out there stuff. Manageable complexity across that spectrum to actually get campaigns live. There's a lot of leverage from the work that's been done in display, moving into FBX, and great results. So again, appreciate your time, and all of you, if you haven't tried FBX inventory yet, light it up.
And thank you guys for your partnership.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.